Hi, everybody. Welcome to our wonderful webinar, Tips to Boost Your School Organization's Fundraising in a Virtual World. My name is Jean Hopkins, and I'm going to be your host today and be able to talk to Debora Jones, who's co-founder of K through 12 Clothing, and Alecia Whitaker Pace, a PTA fundraising expert and published author. And she was just telling us how many miles she's been riding her bikes, bringing her kids to school today. Very exciting. Our next, I just want to give you a little bit of information about a checklist. We are recording this webinar. I absolutely promise we're recording it. We're also going to be doing a transcript of this and posting it to our blog, which is going to be pretty cool. If you will get a copy of the recording and the transcript tomorrow after this webinar is over. Today is October 7th. Yes, October 7th, and it's Alicia's son's birthday, so that's a big day. And then we are going to be able to answer your questions. If you put your questions in the chat pane of the GoToWebinar platform, I'll be monitoring it so that we can ask questions at the very end. So the topic today is, we learned, and Debora told me this earlier, 51% of PTO leaders said they need to raise money more than ever in this year, 2020, which has just been a wonderful year for everyone. Whether you're online, hybrid, the organizations are just not able to operate as they did in the past. How are you going to get to these higher fundraising targets? And Alecia has a lot of great ideas. Deborah's got some great questions for her. Having a PTA fundraising expert online is really very, very important to us. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Deb, and allow you to interview your co-speaker today, Alecia. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jean. Appreciate it. And I think what we need to do here is really set the stage, right? Because the tips to boost your organization's fundraising, online or in person, really starts with a strong strategy and a strong understanding of fundraising as a PTA. So we'll start there, and then we'll get into some more practical tips to implement today, tomorrow, this year. So when you think about the role of the PTA, what do you think about, Alecia?
Well, so for me, the first thing that I think about is advocacy. So if you go on to nationalpta.org and you look at your mission statement, so to me, the mission statement drives everything. I can't tell you how many people have said this year, why are we even fundraising? What are we even doing this year? Why does the PTA even need fundraisers? Well, because our goal is still to advocate for the children, right? Our goal is still to, I was just looking, I wish I had pulled up the mission statement, but it's something I might have texted to you, but it talks about empowering and engaging communities and families in order to advocate for every child. So it's every voice, every child. So yes, you might just love wrapping paper from a certain awesome fundraiser. You may love the big tins of popcorn. You may love the awesome reusable bags. And I am for all of that. I'm not anti any of it. But I'm saying, look at your budget. You want to try to, do budget neutral, right? So that you're only raising as much as you need to fund, because the goal is to reach every child. And so to me, that is the driving force.
I think that's a really great point. And you did send me the mission statement. It's all about every child, one voice. So if you look at the National PTA, the PTA's mission is to make every child's potential a reality by engaging and empowering families and communities to advocate for children. So to your point, advocacy, being the voice of children, and realizing every child's potential. And I think that's a really important point, because when you think about fundraising, it's really about that, right? It's helping to give children different perspectives through different activities. It's helping to unlock that potential. And it's engaging families. It's bringing in the community. So when you think about that as the background, I mean, what makes for a successful fundraising strategy?
So I think, in my opinion, that leads right into community events. For me, you have to put the fun in fundraising, right? And what's fun? Like a big party, something like that. Obviously, in 2020, you have to reimagine that. It doesn't mean you don't have your fundraisers. It means you get creative. but think about ways you can bring communities together. You and I are together right now on opposite coasts, and we're having a blast. So the idea is that you just get creative about how to make it happen. And you still, in my opinion, our favorite and our most successful fundraisers are the ones with community involvement. So let me give you some examples. A lot of people do like a fall festival with games or things like that, where you can bring your kids. We at my school always do a welcome back event. It's a big social with barbecue, the playground. We get the Kona ice truck or some kind of icy, ice cream truck. We have games in the field that a couple of PTA dads who are PE teachers will lead some games. And so parents feel like they're supporting the PTA, but that they're also kind of receiving as well. So that goes to the mission statement about talking about communities and families. And so I think events like that are beautiful. We have like a family game show night where it's a give back. It's not even a fundraiser. We just give that back. And then a family reading night. We have a lot of give backs that are family. So why not, if those are the family reading night, family STEAM night, family math night, family welcome back picnic, okay, those are great and successful and looked forward to. How can we apply that to our fundraisers? In our community, even people outside of our school look forward to our parents' night out. And we just had that on Saturday, and it was a beast to run, but I really was so nervous because I'm running this thing, and we usually have 200 attendees in person at a catering hall. We have dinner, we have, adult beverages. We have a lot of people hanging out and having fun. Teachers come, families, and you leave the kids at home with a babysitter. Well, how are we going to do that during a pandemic? So we had to really rethink it. And I think that it was so beautiful that people still looked forward to it because it's been around since the 90s. And I mean, my husband and I are like, we can't wait to go because it's a date night for us. It's the biggest fundraiser of the year. We make we can support the majority of our budget on this one fundraiser, which is a beautiful thing because then you're not harassing families for fundraising all the time, right? We just get it all in this one big shot, but it's a blast. Like there's a buffet and it's just a DJ and there's dancing and lots of 90s music. So you can't go wrong with that. It's just like a super fun event. So if you can think about fundraising in that way, like think, okay, if we're looking forward to this family event or to this big event out, what kind of event can we have a community fundraiser that people look forward to? And I think that makes it very successful because also, even when your whole family is there, like at the welcome back picnic where we're selling spiritware, we're selling memberships, we're selling, we have like a few raffle baskets at that event, but we're also giving back. There might be a magician or there might be, like I said, ices. So I think what happens with those types of events is that people feel invested. So for instance, if you were to buy something on the stock market, you're suddenly going to pay attention when you see that company in the headlines. Oh, wait, I have even one share of that company. You're invested. So similarly, if you invest in the PTA, you're going to be invested not just in the literal sense with your money, but in the figurative sense with your heart and your soul and your mind and really your energy. So to me, that makes it successful. I also think that when you are in should I talk now about the 3-to-1 or is that, yeah?
Yeah. I think that's a great point because when PTAs are setting out their strategy for a year, certainly getting the community involved, thinking of the mission statement, that's important. But I think there is also some kind of more practical elements that are important for you to highlight.
Sure. So I think that so to make it a successful fundraiser, you also want to make sure, right, that your heart is in the right place. Okay. We are a nonprofit organization, and honestly, we are an IRS recognized nonprofit organization, right? We are tax exempt, so we have to earn that. How do we earn that? Well, there's a 3-to-1 ratio. So for every one fundraiser you do, you need to be giving back in 3 ways. So that 3-to-1 ratio, if you start thinking about it like that, like, okay, the welcome back picnic was kind of a give back, but it was really a fundraiser, right? You're raising money. So what 3 ways can we give? Well, we did a scavenger hunt. That's one way, where the kids could do a huge scavenger hunt. We had to do it through an app called Goose Chase, but it was really fun. Families did competitions at home, like 10 push-ups or how many kids can your dad carry? And you take a picture, like things like that. then it's really fun. And you're seeing it pop up on your social media or on your app. And you're like, no way, the Jones family just carried 4 kids. Like, doll, baby doll on top. Like, so you're trying to think of ways to make it fun. And that's a give back. But you think about for us, so one thing, the part of the mission statement that's very dear to my heart is the all children part. It's for all children, all communities. I live in Long Island. I'm not from here, so I'm originally from Kentucky. It's important to me to build my community. It's very important to me. I don't have mom and dad down the road. So the community part and the advocating for all children in your building, to me, is very important. So I like events where we give back in ways that show equity and parity to all children. So not everybody's mom and dad can bring them on the weekend to a welcome back event. Not everybody's parent can bring them to family reading night or family game show night, or not everybody can get off for parents' night out. So when you're thinking about your fundraising and you're giving back, you have to think, okay, how am I advocating for every child? So this year, the new president after me, she sent home a welcome back gift to all children. So that includes the virtual learners who are at home, and that includes our in-person learners who are in school 5 times a day, but every child got a gift. And one of the ways we gave back most the past several years was through cultural arts programming. So we had some folklore dancers come for the Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples Day. We had Chinese New Year's, dancers come in. We had the reptile guy, like you put a bullfrog on a kid's head and you put that picture on Twitter, and then people are seeing where their money goes. Oh, this is why I'm part of the PTA, because somebody just touched a boa constrictor at school. Like, that's amazing. We brought in like a Star Lab planetarium, and you hear these kids who maybe don't have a mama and dad, and who are wearing winter clothes in the middle of the hottest summer days, and who don't have some of the really just the day-to-day things that we have and we can sometimes take for granted. But that's a way that we advocated for that child. Like, that child got to be in a planetarium, or that child got to experience a workshop with a reptile enthusiast. I really, really think that when you're considering both fundraisers and givebacks, that you consider your entire population. And when you're inclusive like that with children, I would also encourage you to be inclusive like that with your volunteers, because you can't run it all. And you might want to, and you might think that you can because you are super mom, and I don't doubt it. I don't. But just because you can do it all doesn't really mean you should. Because a lot of people, I hear like, oh, well, I work, but you have a printer at work, right? Because I need somebody to print off this gift certificate. Or you have, you are good with Google spreadsheets, right? Because I am having a really hard time printing off the prizes. Maybe you can help sort the sheet. And, oh yeah, well, I am good at Excel. I could do that at night, or, things. Sorry, the principal just texted me. So things like that. Hey, I want to call. No. So I think that when you think about equity, just in general, if you keep that in your mind, in the front of your mind, that while you can do everything, if you invite others to give their little part, and maybe it's not as much as you can do, but that little part is almost like a little seed in the ground, and you water it. And then you say, thank you so much for organizing that spreadsheet. That was a beast. Or thank you so much for printing off that gift certificate. Thank you so much for dropping tablecloths off at the event. Something small. Thank you so much for providing bagels for the teacher, for the welcome back breakfast, something. And then you'll notice those, if you will give people small jobs, if you can let go of the control enough to give people small jobs, you're going to see your attendance start to triple. We tripled our attendance with just that method when I was president. Just becoming the mayor. Hey, I'm Alecia. Hey, I'm Alecia. Hey, it's nice to meet you. Introduce people, and let people volunteer their little part. Let them do something. And you'll just see that then they feel invested, and they invest in your PTA literally and figuratively. And I guess the last part was the time, but do you want to chime in first?
No, I said that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you get people involved and engaged, and so if you're thinking, you can't hear me?
I can't. I don't know if other people can. Okay, I got you.
You got me now?
Yes.
Excellent. There is no webinar complete without a technical glitch, so thank you. But it continues the conversation. Yeah, no, I was just saying it makes a lot of sense to get people engaged and invested, and that makes for a successful strategy. I think, if I encapsulate what you said, if I'm a PTA leader sitting down at the beginning of the year and I'm saying, okay, let's set out our fundraising strategy, I think the key things that you pulled out are, keep that mission statement in mind. Make sure there's equity in your events. In other words, working with different days, different times,
Yes.
involvement of different people, right? Like volunteers as well as different children. And then showing parents results through give backs, I think, both because of the IRS guidelines, which are critical, but also then to engage the parents, right? The more they see what's happening, the more they will be involved. And if I had to add to that, I would say also setting out goals so that everybody on the leadership team, even if you don't share those goals more broadly, at least so your leadership team has a target in mind and is kind of marching to that target. Some schools choose to share that out with their parent group so the parents can see how they're contributing, going back to that showing the impact, right? But you don't have to. And then I would also say a mix of types of events, including, and you did mention this, kind of arts and cultural events for the children, but also different days and times. The other takeaway I have from yours is that pictures of things on top of people go really well, like reptiles on children and children on parents. So tonight, if there are pictures on my social media of my husband covered in 3 dogs and 2 kids, I'm going to blame you. But more specifically, aside from events with people on other people or animals on people, what specific types of events have you had a lot of success in? I mean, you mentioned the fall festival and the auction a little bit, so maybe talk a little bit more about those particular events and how to make them successful.
Okay. So one thing is timing. And so there is a really, the idea is that if you have all your fundraisers, look at your calendar. So you got 10 months to get it, y'all. You don't have to raise it all at the beginning. Let people recoup, let them come back. I think we might be talking about that later, but I definitely think to pay attention to your calendar. But as far as kind of events that prioritize bringing the community together. So is it an event you would want to attend, first of all? Are you asking people to do things you yourself wouldn't want to do? Then that's probably not maybe one that is a good idea. So here's another. So I talked about Parents Night. I told you that's just basically a night out with tons of raffles all around for people to drop tickets into. We used a platform. Some people use Rally Up. We used Better Unite, but there are some platforms you can use to make that go virtual. And what we learned is that in the future, even when this pandemic magically goes away and everything is cured, so when that happens, we will probably go back to in-person events. But I think we're going to keep a little bit of a hybrid aspect, because what happened was that I've attended this event 5 times in a row, but this year my folks from back home were able to buy raffle tickets and drop tickets, and they're not usually down at the hall on the night of this event. And a lot of families who can't get a sitter were able to participate. This silent auction was very fair and very transparent this year, because the site just cut it off at 10. So you either had your bids in or you didn't, and people were watching that silent auction. And I was getting a lot of texts like, this is so much fun, and then they would say, who's outbid me? And I couldn't see, it's blind. But that was very fun, and it still brought people together. We did couple, so you don't, obviously I'm not just going to ask for tickets. This is a big night out for parents. So we did the goose chase. We had adult themed missions, like take a picture of your kids asleep by 8 o'clock. Take a picture of you doing some parkour, and some mom sent a picture of her jumping over their fire pit or something in the yard. Like, we're engaging them. And in general, I think the Welcome Back picnic is similar. But I did have an idea for the middle school this year that I saw it's not my idea, it's from a PTA, PTO leaders on Facebook thing, because it's also nice that we share ideas. Because you know what, high tide raises all ships, right? So it's not a competition. This is what I hate about women in general that I think is getting better, but lifting you up lifts me up too, right? So if our school does something and I share that information with the other 4 schools in our district, it just lifts all of the schools up, and it provides equity and parity for all of the children in the district. It shouldn't be one elementary school doing so much for their kids and one elementary school not able to, right? Like when we share ideas, when we share resources. Another idea is, let's say, Debora, you have a fundraiser coming up with a family fundraiser or with your husband or partner or whoever, and you decide that, oh, I wish I could go, but I have to work the event. I have to sell tickets. I have to just, I could say, well, how about we do a volunteer swap? Why don't I provide some volunteers to work your event so you can enjoy it? And then you provide some volunteers to work my event later in the year so that I can enjoy it. And then both schools in the district are raising money, but also raising a goodness and a kindness that will trickle down to our children and to our community. And so I think that makes it for a successful fundraiser. We had a lot of people attend Saturday night virtually that were from other schools. Why? Because we're supporting their schools too. I'm
I
joining.
love that.
Yeah, I'm joining almost every PTA in my district. If I, maybe throughout the year, I've already joined 3. I hope to join all 6 by the end, right? Like you don't have to do it all at once, but my membership, my $10 or whatever is going to go a long way for that school. And then I'm going to be part of their email chains. And when they ask for a volunteer, you know what, maybe I can help out, maybe, right? Or I can at least attend something. I think that helps make it successful. Are you reaching out to the other schools in your district? That's just another way that you can bring community together while also fundraising. Again, it's fundraising without even feeling like fundraising. And to me, that's what can be successful. But I did, again, so I said I saw this idea on a Facebook PTA and PTO leaders about a penny war. And we've never done it in our district. And I thought, gosh, that'd be pretty good for the middle school, I think. And my son overheard me, Mom, yes, tell me about it. What are we going to do? He's like game mode. And I explained how, for every penny, it's kind of like a point in your bucket. But for every silver coin, it's a negative for someone else's. Oh man, I'm taking like 5 quarters to Drew's class. I'm going to like bring it. Like he's already read. He's already like lasered it. And so that gets the kids excited. It gets the community together. But the principal at first, she wasn't sure. She said, I don't know. We're in a pandemic. It feels, there's a coin shortage. So it kind of feels wrong to ask for coins. But I said, no, and then I explained my perspective. This is an opportunity to engage our children and provide learning. So yes, there's a coin shortage. Why? Because local businesses and banks need coins that our children and we have at home. They're in our piggy banks. They're in our consoles of our car. Let's take this as a civil opportunity, maybe responsibility to teach our children. This pandemic is so much more far-reaching than who feels healthy or who is feeling good. This is about our economy as well. We can do our part by getting those pennies out of our piggy bank and putting them back into the banks, or we can take it a step further and ask some local businesses who constantly support our school. Hey, this pizzeria, do y'all need some change? Because we'll bring you 20 rolls of pennies or dimes or $20 worth of coins for a $20 bill. Then we take a picture, then we show community engagement, we put it on social media. When you go to get a slice, go to this place next. They support our school. And what does that all do? Is that it raises your community and it makes it a beautiful place to live. So I think that when you think of fundraising, try to think with that broader idea.
Yeah, I completely agree. And there's so many opportunities to leverage what people are already doing. I've heard from a lot of PT leaders concerned about asking right now in light of the pandemic, right? They're concerned about people's financial situations and they don't want to be like another thing or make another ask. And although I respect that view, and I do think that there is a line where you don't want to alienate people by constantly asking and putting pressure on parents at all. Like you want to avoid that. But I do think that there are everyday opportunities to fundraise that you can leverage. For example, going to your local grocery store and asking the grocery store to donate a percentage of sales for every person who says your school's name when shopping. Or, the grocery store doesn't have such a program, which a lot of grocery stores do, by the way, so make the ask. You can ask for a gift card that they donate, and then you can auction that off. Or if you have, a persistent online auction throughout, like all year long that some schools do, you can put it up there. Or if you have a single auction, you can do it there as well. Amazon Smile, is another opportunity. An Etsy store is another opportunity to fundraise well, not asking people for additional things. It's just the things that they're purchasing every day. Just do it through the school's avenue. Going out to dinner, you mentioned the pizza place. So have the coin unveiling on a night where they give 10% of all proceeds to your school, and encourage everybody to come see the coin winner dine. They replace their weekly, night out with that night, and everybody wins, and you're raising for the school. So I think that there are a lot of ways to take what people are doing day to day and just convert that into fundraising for your school. The other advice that I've heard from PTA leaders and would give to others is, just because somebody's financial situation may not be where it appears that they can give, you shouldn't underestimate or make assumptions about their generosity. They may budget for investing in their child's school. You just don't know. And so not making too many asks, absolutely respect that, but making it easy for somebody to give if they are so inclined. Similarly, they may have family members who want to give, grandparents who say, I want to invest in my grandchild. Aunts, uncles, people outside of the local school community. They may be in the broader community, they may be in a different country, but they can give either through membership. To your point, you don't have to have a child at that school to be a PTA member, right? So encouraging that kind of extension beyond just your school's family, school's direct family, I should say, into the community, and giving people an opportunity to give are things that we've seen be successful. And then also converting your typically in-person events to something that can still be done in today's world. I want to come back to this in a second, the ferries that you mentioned and the deliveries, because I think that is awesome.
Oh, right.
Because I heard of something similar today where there's a school who's doing their fall festival, and every year they have a pumpkin decorating contest, and there's a winner for the top pumpkin. So this year they can't bring everybody together to do that. So what they're doing is you just display your pumpkin on your porch, and the judges are going to drive around and score the pumpkin.
That's
you can
awesome.
still do it. You still are bringing together the community. There will be pictures of all those pumpkins. The event can still take place, albeit in a slightly different format. But that reminded me of your deliveries. So tell us more about that.
No, I definitely think that you just, like, again, so kudos to that school for not just canceling, right? They're doing what we ask our children to do all the time. We ask them in a crisis to pivot. We don't say give up. We say pivot, problem solve, look for another avenue. We say that to our kids. Mom, I can't find my other sneaker. Okay, where are your jellies? Oh, right? Pivot. So it's the same thing. That school could have said, well, we can't have our Halloween event. It's not going to be as fun. But then they're like, no, wait, we could do a drive-by. You can even, I'm guessing they might have even provided like a little map or houses that the community, our school does something similar with the Clark Griswold lights outside. And we don't participate, but my kids and I get in the car and we drive around the town, and we see the list. So we know which houses are participating and we go there. But so what we did for Saturday night for the parents' night in is, again, we had all the prizes on Better Unite, but then we did the Goose Chase. It's a free app, or, we downloaded the EDU version. I think that schools can pay $500 with the EDU version. You have to email them, and then you have it for the whole year. We've already used it twice, and we've only been in school for 1 month tomorrow. So we've already used it twice. I know that we're going to use it all year long, and parents were able to do that, and we had door prizes for those parents. So the top 3 winners won door prizes. However, throughout the night, we had these PTA fairies. They came to my house. My front yard was a command center. We were spaced out with masks and all of that. But I had my computer. Another volunteer over there had her computer. And as we saw hilarious Goose Chase missions being accomplished, somebody would say, "Take them a door prize." Like I said, these dads just did like 10 push-ups with their kids on their backs. Take them a door prize, or they're showing awesome Meadow Drive spirit wear, take them a door prize. And so we had the fairies would go to their stoop and send a text or send a tweet or take a picture and say surprise, and then people would post about it, thank you so much. So we had a lot of prizes that we weren't certain about because we aren't sure these businesses are coming back or not. They donated before the pandemic hit, and our event was canceled in April, which is why we ended up having it Saturday. So we ended up pairing it with like something that they could drink, so that either way you have a sure bet and a not a sure bet. So I don't know if this business will come back, but this is a sure bet. So you gave them like two things, right? Like this and this in a gift bag. But people love it. People love winning something for nothing. So as soon as they knew there were PTA fairies willing to drive around the neighborhood and drop off, and we are in an area though where most families, it's only, the radius is only maybe 3 or 4 miles, but it might be harder in a rural community. Maybe where I grew up, it might be a little difficult, but you could still brainstorm. You can still be creative. You could have a drop-off point too. Like, hey, you win a prize, come by the school and pick it up, or you could have it sent home, whatever it is. But the PTA fairies was a pretty big hit, and I can see that happening again. It's I thought of it because every year my kids elf other people, or they boo other people, or they draw something and leave a bag of candy and say you've been elfed or you've been booed, and then they have to do it to 2 other kids. It's the same. They get so excited to find a little baggie of treats on their stoop. So grown-ups are really just oversized children. So so we're just
we should be getting our kids more involved in this, right? They'll have the ideas. We're teaching them to pivot. They can now help encourage us to pivot, right?
Right, exactly. Absolutely.
I think that you've made this point a couple of times just in what you've shared, but not explicitly. So I want us to talk about it a little bit more, is this showing where the money is going to / sharing on social media, kind of that engagement. How do you use that to maximize fundraising, and talk about how you view it? Because I think your viewpoint here is really unique and helpful.
So I think it is very important that we remember that when I was the president, I still just had one vote. I still just paid my $10, just like you, just like everyone else. I may lead, but I need to take a lot of votes. I need to ask the membership. My boss, there were 344 other members. That's right. Those are my bosses. We all work together. So I think that it's very important that we keep in mind, again, that we're a not-for-profit. So on our website, I created a tab that says Your Impact, so that parents can always go to meadowdrivepta.com and they can look at the Your Impact page. And then they can see, this is what you have done so far this year. And we start to list the events. This isn't what I have done as the PTA president. This is not what we have done as the officers. This is what you have done with your support of our fundraisers. This is what you're making possible. So similarly, we had summer reading. So when we give out those medals, it needs to be clear that those medals are from the PTA. So we might have an assembly in the past. Now we may just have a baggie. And on the baggie, it's important that there's a label that says, congratulations from the PTA. Or, it's important that when you're on Twitter, you can write something like, hey, parents, your kids are coming home with a welcome back gift. You made this happen. Thank you for making this happen. Let them know, oh, this is what my $10 goes for, or this is what that goes for. When we have end of year gifts, we always have enjoy your summer, love the PTA. I think it's very important that parents know and see where their money is going, so that when we ask for money, which is what a fundraiser really is, right? They want to see where it's going. So it's like, I don't know, if your kid were to ask you, Mom, can I have $5, right? You want to see what they paid for. Why do you need $5? What's the point of it? So I just think it's important to let them know. And social media is a huge way that you can do that. Our district really promotes Twitter. I can't wait to see, it's my son's birthday today, so I can't wait to see what his teachers post today. So our parents are already on Twitter, and they're watching to see what the administration and what the teachers are posting. So similarly, the PTA should be posting, and we do. We say, thank you, PTA members, for making it possible that we had this living planetarium. Thank you, PTA members, for giving the children this awesome field day. Thank you, PTA, for, and show people, really show them that the children's smiling faces and the adults' smiling faces and the fun things that we're able to provide. And to keep in mind that we're providing the things, like the school has a budget. Don't get me wrong, the school as a public organization does have a state funded budget. They do have, and so it's not really our place as a non-for-profit to supplement that budget. It's our place to advocate and provide for children. So does your budget have something for convention, which we should be going to, so that we can vote on delegates and vote on resolutions that become laws eventually? So are we doing Take Action Tuesday, which is, I think, between maybe I think it ends in April, but let's say it's like between February and April. Are we doing Take Action Tuesday, where we're writing to our senators and our legislators, which is something like a copy and paste you could send to your members? Are we advocating for those types of things? I just think that it's such a big piece. And then when we post about it on social media. The PTA supports this initiative from the New York State PTA or from the California State PTA. Or how are you using your social media? It shouldn't, if you're asking, so as Jean said at the beginning of the call, I'm a young adult author, so I have 4 published books. And when I first published, I read an article in the Times that talked about how people want to be your friend. So they want to say, I'm buying my friend Alecia Whitaker's book, The Queen of Kentucky, because I follow her on Instagram, or we talk on Facebook, or we talk on Twitter, versus saying, me saying, buy this book on sale now, on sale. They also want to say, here's what I'm doing. Here's me pumpkin picking. Here's, I love this restaurant at, back home. Or they want a really more immersive experience. And so that's what my takeaway is as an author, which is my business, right? So similarly for the PTA, they don't just want to be sold to. They're not just saying, hey, now we're doing this fundraiser. Now we're doing this. Now we need this money. We need to say, we took that money and we spent it on this for your children. And then a little while later, like I said, you have to space out your fundraisers, because at the end of the day, people get paid twice a month, right? Maybe once a week, but usually twice a month. So it doesn't matter. It's not that people don't want to participate in your fundraisers. They do. They want to help, but give them a break. Let them recoup. Also, they might have kids. I have 3 kids in 3 schools. So I want to join all of those PTAs. I want to help all of their fundraisers. We've been in school for 30 days. There's already, right? So space out the fundraisers. Give me some time to participate, I think that's very important. Look at your calendar, right? And it gives you some time to do those give backs. But I think it's very important to use social media in an intelligent way, because perception is reality, right? Nothing on social media is the real life, right? Nobody wants to see me up in the middle of the night with my asthmatic baby, right? They want to see me like, hey, having a great time, right? Like my 5-year-old had an asthma attack on Saturday night in the middle of our event. That's not what I'm showing. That's going to bring, right? I'm just like, ladies, I'm going to go in here real quick and help my baby out. Y'all got this, and then we're posting, hey, having so much fun. So you have to think that social media is a tool. It's a tool that can be your best friend if you don't remember, it's not your personal page, it's a business page.
I think it's also hard sometimes as a PTA leader, as a leader, frankly, in any business, you're so immersed in what you're doing day to day that it's hard to remember that other people don't know that, right? Like, because you're so in it that it's your reality, but that's not necessarily what other people know. So just reminding other people, like, here's where your fundraising is going. These school supplies, courtesy of the PTA. The label in the backpack, right? When you're sending something home physically, this is courtesy of the PTA, or this, more specifically, this is where your fundraising dollars are going.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your contribution, right? These are the 3 bullet points that we are investing in with your contribution, whatever it may be. I think that's really important. And then I do think making it fun is important. And finally, I think it's also critical to remember that this doesn't only apply to certain types of schools. Like, we work with Title I schools, we work with schools in affluent districts, we work with private, we work with public. Fundraising is something all of those schools do. And even if you're a Title I school, I think leveraging the fundraising of the day-to-day that I talked about earlier, like the grocery stores, people are buying groceries, regardless of their financial situation, they're buying groceries in some way. So leveraging what people are already doing can maximize your fundraising for your school, whatever that means, given your community, right? And again, extending beyond the community, not thinking of it as just the school, but a PTA member can be anywhere. One of my favorite PTA membership drive tips is a school that did a contest. The student who won was the student who got the member from the furthest away.
Oh, cool.
They got a member from over 3,000 miles away. Kudos to them, because you can be anywhere to be a PTA member. And to your earlier point, in today's reality, those members from 3,000 miles away can participate in online trivia night if they so choose, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that's really critical. I know we have to wrap things up here. So if you had to sum up your advice in 3 sentences or less for PTAs to maximize fundraising this year, what would you say?
I would say that it's very important to be inclusive and embrace the mission statement. Those are my 2. I think that's a very big thing. Be inclusive, right? Everybody.
Yep.
They may not, don't underestimate anybody, right? Like, just give everybody the chance. And sometimes people don't want to just answer your flyer. They want you to walk up to them at the bus loop, or walk up to them say, hi, are you new here, or where are you from, or my name's, so be inclusive. I think it's important to show, not tell, right? Show and tell what you're doing. Again, we can learn so much from the children. So show and tell, show what you're doing, talk about what you're doing, tell what you're doing. And I think it's very important to, shift the focus from fundraisers, right, to fundraisers. So think about it in a new way. And to your point, I meant to speak about this earlier, but like you said, with people worried about businesses and worried about supporting businesses during a time where the economy is taking a little bit of a hit. So if you were to ask a pizza place to donate $20 of a gift card, my family of 6 can never eat at a pizza place for only $20. But it's a great prize. So that's going to make me do a couple of things for that business. It's a very symbiotic relationship, that type of fundraising. Don't think that they're only giving to you. They're receiving, because then I'm going to bet, wow, D'Angelo supported my school. Now I feel loyalty towards that small business. Now I'm going to order for them from when my kid has a birthday, or I'm going to order for them at another time. And also, when I do go in and use my gift card, I'm going to spend more than the $20. So that's business they're going to get on that evening or day that they maybe wouldn't have gotten normally, because I want to use my gift card. So make sure you remember that it is a symbiotic thing. You're not the bad guy for asking. If anything, you're promoting their business and you're giving them, a little bit of free advertising, right? Just be responsible when you ask, and make sure to promote their business on your social media or in a journal. It can be an online or a paper journal at your event. But I think that you can really shift your focus and make sure you're choosing fundraisers that bring the fun.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that we've talked about, how we can learn from the children. And since you're an author, I thought we would sum it up with, there's a book called All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. And I feel like that's probably right and applies here, right? Jean, I don't know if we have time for any questions, so I'll turn it back over to you and take your lead on that.
Okay, thank you, Debora. Thank you, Alecia. We all learned a ton of things here. A couple people had to log off early and they said thank you, and they're going to watch the rest when I send out the recording tomorrow, as well as the transcript. A woman named Gloria was very interested in how you reimagine community events with COVID restrictions, was absolutely fascinated by that. Overall, the questions and the sheer passion that you show, Alecia, for this is amazing. I'd like us to consider possibly for an upcoming, maybe it's not a webinar, maybe we do a scavenger hunt ourselves with the audience, just to be able to have it be a teaching moment for
Oh, that's
everybody.
cool.
How could you do that in 35 minutes and do it online? We could use a Zoom platform. We could use this GoToWebinar platform, but you had so many awesome ideas. And sometimes people, I understood what you were saying, yet I couldn't imagine myself doing it. And I'm a mom of two 22-year-old daughters right now, and I did a lot of my own fundraising efforts. I did a lot for the school library and love doing it. It's just, it's hard, as you pointed out, to get people to be involved. But what you did is you put the fun in fundraising. And maybe we could do that. Maybe for our next one, we were talking about our next webinar that we're going to be doing on November 4th. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we do it and we show people how it's done. That could be
Love it.
fun. Yeah, that's great. So we wrapped up a minute late. Thank you for the 45 minutes. We started exactly at the top of the hour. We're at 46 minutes. I want to honor everybody's attention for coming to this particular event. Thank you, Alecia. Very, very enthusiastic. You're just so bubbly, have such a great personality. Deb, thank you for bringing her on as a guest, and we'll continue to leverage her for our next particular event. So thank you, everybody, and look forward to getting the recording and the transcript of this event. And Jen, thank you for being my backup today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.